inaugural session at UDC 2025. We have a very special, exciting guest with us here today. 워낙 특별한 게스트를 모신 터라서 제가 여러분들에게 조금 다소 부담스러울 수 있을 정도의 에너지를 내볼 텐데요. 너무 부담스러워하지 마시고 적극적으로 함께 호응해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. 자, 띄워주세요. But if I'm going to do it anyway, then I might as do it properly. Joining us live, Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, the man who oversees iconic real estate projects, luxury hotels, legendary golf courses, and in recent years has become a leading voice in the world of digital assets. For the very first time, speaking directly to the Korean blockchain community, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one and only Eric Trump. Eric, you probably can't hear it enough through the screen, which is why you have to be here next year or any near future. But trust me, this room is full of energy, excitement, and all the cell phones pointed at you. So would you like to say hello to them?
Oh, I can't wait, Shane. By the way, I do hear the excitement in the room. I hear the applause. I want you to know that America loves Korea. The Trump family loves Korea. We love you all. And I promise SJ, I promise you, I was just over in Hong Kong last week. I was over in Japan. I promise you next year I'm going to be in Korea with all of you guys at that conference, and I give you my word. So I can't wait to see you guys all in person, and we'll be over there together very soon. But we love the country, we love the people. I have so many dear Korean friends, and SJ is becoming a very close, near and dear friend, and I'm honored to get to know her so well. And this is truly an amazing company. It's a company that we know very well, we work with every day, and so SJ, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. So as you know, I'm in charge of branding and social impact and also major conferences like this one, which is why I'm all the more thrilled to be your moderator today. So Eric, let's get started. And by the way, we're going to take you up on your word that you will be here in person soon, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's begin. We'd like to ask you to share your thoughts on digital assets in finance and business, trends and global and future vision. Eric, for the next 15 minutes, the floor is all yours.
Oh wow! You know what? I could probably take up SJ. I could probably take up the next 2 hours doing it. You know, the digital assets have become the most explosive category, I think, of any investment in the world over the last several years. I mean, you look at all the biggest digital assets, and they're doing incredible. You look at the exchanges, they're doing incredible. And you look at the trends around the world. I mean, the top families, the top Fortune 500 companies, they're all running toward digital property, digital assets. It's going to be a new way of banking. It's going to be a new way of actually holding value on your balance sheets, and every company is running toward it. And the people in this room are probably saying, hey, Eric, why? Well, why? You've always been a real estate family. By the way, SJ, I think you know very well, we've got 6 buildings in Seoul, which you know very well, Trump World, great buildings. We did them a long time ago, and that's what I've done my entire life. I've built great buildings. It's what my father's done. It's what my grandfather did. It's what my great-grandfather did. We were all in the real estate world, and if you were to ask me 5 years ago, I would have never, ever for a second thought, for 1 second, that we would have been in the space of digital assets. I wouldn't have necessarily believed in them. I wouldn't have, quite frankly, understood them. I wouldn't have had an open mind to them, because we were hard asset people. If you couldn't touch it, if you couldn't feel it, we were always the people that didn't think it existed. And then all of a sudden, my father got into politics, and he had this great movement. It was called Make America Great Again. And it was controversial in a lot of ways, right? It was very politically incorrect in certain ways, and he spoke from his heart. And all of a sudden, we had banks in the United States, and we had banks all over the world that were trying to cancel us. They were trying to strip our accounts. And these are for the best residential buildings in the world, the best commercial buildings in the world, the best hotels, the assets that we do better than anybody. I know so many of the people in this conference have probably been in our buildings. I bet there are people in this conference who live in our buildings. And all of a sudden, you have Bank of America, you have JP Morgan, and you have all these companies that wanted to cancel our family. And the reason they wanted to cancel us because of political pressure from other administrations, and they got away with it. And what was interesting is during the same time, actually, the same people who were canceling us, who were canceling me, who were trying to take bank accounts away from golf courses and things, were also going after the very people in your room. They were going after the crypto community, the people who believe that modern day finance could be so much better than kind of traditional banking system, that you see right now. All around the world, we have this system. It's called the SWIFT wire system, right? It's how you pay vendor to vendor. It's how you pay country to country. If I'm trying to get a wire on a Friday afternoon, I have to send it out before 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. And if I do that, it probably won't hit the recipient's account until Monday or Tuesday. And I kind of laugh at this, right? As you start to really dig into crypto, why is it that a wire transfer can't go through on a Saturday or on a Sunday or a weekend? Why can't it go through after business hours? And you start asking these questions, you start to understand how antiquated finance is at just a very basic level. In the United States, you can wait 90 to 120 days to get a residential mortgage for a house. From a bank, by the way, actually, that you bank with for the last 20 years of your life. Why is it that it takes 120 days? And what I came to realize through kind of the weaponization of government is I wanted to be part of fixing the problem, and that's what we're doing right now. But I started meeting the most incredible people, the smartest people in the world who were focused on crypto from all over the world, who wanted to modernize traditional finance. And the more you met them, the more brilliant you realized they were, and the more you could see the future of finance and how it's going to change drastically. And it has. I think my father has been a great catalyst to the entire world because he's always believed in cryptocurrency. He's always believed that banks could do it better, they could do it more efficiently, that the big banks were antiquated, that they haven't pushed technology forward in years. But what I came to learn very, very quickly is I don't think there's anything in the world, in the financial space, that can't be done better, cheaper, faster, safer, more transparently than what we're doing in this kind of crypto revolution right now. And you're seeing that every single day. Right now I could open up a wallet. I could open up a Bitcoin wallet and I could transfer unlimited amount of money across the globe right this second. And it could hit SJ's wallet in 1 second, to 2 seconds, to 3 seconds with virtually no transaction fees. Try and do that through the modern financial system where all of a sudden you're trying to do currency conversions, you're trying to change the US dollar into the yen or whatever currency, any currency, the euro, you name the currency around the world. You have to find a bank. They take currency conversion fees. There's FX fees on top of that. There's banking fees. All of a sudden, your money is getting diluted. And by the way, it's not actually an efficient process. You have to find a local branch, and then you need to make sure the customer on the opposite side has a bank account. Crypto eliminates all of that. Crypto is going to be the rails for the financial institution. The speed of execution is going to be so much faster, so much quicker, so much safer. It's all obviously on-chain, which means it's 100% transparent. It's all written in smart contracts on blockchain, meaning that people can't weaponize the system. And that's so important. America is one of the greatest democracies. It is the greatest democracy anywhere in the world. But you look at so many nations. Think about Zimbabwe. Think about so many of these places where you have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000% inflation every year. You have some guy who goes to work, he gets a paycheck, and that paycheck, you may as well light it on fire because the money's gone because of inflation, because of corruption, because of bad government policies, because of fraud, because of waste, because of so many other problems. Now all of a sudden, if that person has one of these, if they have a phone, this becomes their wallet. This puts them on the US dollar. This puts them on any currency that they believe in. All of a sudden they can go out, they can buy Bitcoin, they can buy Ethereum, they can buy a USD1, which is our stable coin, which I've been working on, very hard. It's the fastest growing stable coin. It's under World Liberty Financial. They can buy any of these instruments at any time. It gives them financial freedom around the world. But it also allows them to transact across borders instantly and virtually for free, right? I mean, the fees are so minuscule versus what traditional banking fees are, especially when you start putting in foreign exchange. Now all of a sudden, if you wanted to borrow, you can borrow against your holdings that are in those wallets, and you can do so seamlessly, you can do so instantly. So for the first time, instead of waiting for 90 days for a loan application to go through, you know what you do? You pick up your phone, you have a certain amount of assets in there, and you borrow against them. You do so in a smart contract. And so if the value of your collateral dips slightly, then that's fine. They'll have some coverage ratio, and they might have to sell off a few percent. All the while, you can get the appreciation of that asset. So if you have $100,000 in Bitcoin, or you have $1 million in Bitcoin, well, you can lend against the Bitcoin. You can go buy your dream asset, your home with your husband and wife. You can see the appreciation over here. You can obviously have the appreciation of the lifestyle over here, or the house you're going to buy, or the business you're going to start. And that's a beautiful thing. In the U.S., you do that. It's actually a very tax-efficient way of doing it, because now all of a sudden you're not selling an asset and paying tax, only to go buy another asset. You're borrowing off of it, and debt in the United States and so many countries around the world is treated as tax-free. And so now you're maintaining one asset. In the case of Bitcoin, an asset that's been going up, 50, 60, 70% every single year. So you get to see the appreciation of that asset, while at the same time being able to instantly withdraw your money to go use on the startup of a new business, or buying a new home, or the lifestyle, or whatever choice you have. And at the same time, you're able to buy and transact in currencies that work on a 24/7 market, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. On Saturday night, if you want to transact, you can do so while having dinner with your husband or your wife. You're no longer limited to 9 to 5 banking hours, Monday through Friday. All of a sudden, cryptocurrency opens up a whole new world. And I learned this, and I learned it through, honestly, the weaponization of government here in the United States, and meeting some brilliant people who wanted to transform the digital asset space. And I've never seen something more powerful. I've never been more certain about anything in my life. When we fast forward 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, certainly 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a landscape that is totally different. And by the way, that's why the big banks in the United States, that's why the big banks in Europe, that's why the big banks in Asia, they're petrified. They're petrified of what's coming. And at first they didn't know what to do. At first they ignored cryptocurrency, they ignored digital assets. And now they can't ignore it anymore, because we've become too powerful. The people in this room and the people listening around the world believe in this technology too much. And so what's happening is the banks are starting to embrace it. So you look at JP Morgan, the biggest bank in the United States, guess what they're doing? They're creating digital asset wings. Every day they're creating digital asset products. And for the first time, they're leaning into it. You look at Charles Schwab, you look at Fidelity, you look at Bank of America, you look at the biggest financial institutions. You go to Canada, you look at TD, you look at UBS that's starting to look at embracing digital assets. And they realize that they either embrace these digital assets, or they're going to get left behind. And they're going to get left behind by Upbit, they're going to get left behind by Coinbase, and they're going to get left behind by Binance, and they're going to get left behind by all the biggest exchanges in the world, and by all of us who realize that the antiquated system that they've been running for so long kind of no longer works. And so it's the greatest honor of my life to be involved in this industry. I've always been a real estate guy. We build the best buildings and hotels and golf courses on planet Earth. I told SJ I'd make a little bit of a soft announcement here tonight, but I think you're going to see our name in Korea again very, very soon on the real estate side. We're looking at a couple really big opportunities, and I couldn't be more excited, because we love the country, we love the people. But equally as exciting is the digital asset space, because I'm telling you, there's nothing that's growing faster, there's nothing more dynamic. The brains are in this space right now, and we're on the 1 yard line. People ask me all the time, okay, Eric, you have one of the best Bitcoin companies in America, right? You just listed on the NASDAQ. Isn't it too late? And I say, guys, it's not too late. I think it's the earliest stage you could possibly imagine. I mean, this is when digital assets are finally, outside of decentralized finance, outside of DeFi, they're finally being able to touch the masses in a way that's never ever been seen before. And I think we're on the 1 yard line, and I think we have so much latitude and so much room ahead of us. We have such tremendous upside potential. As I said at the beginning of this conference, Right now, cryptocurrency is growing faster than the growth of the internet, if you can possibly believe it. And we're on the 1 yard line. And so, SJ, I've never been more honored to be in an industry. I've been speaking all over the world. And I want to leave this kind of opening part with this. The biggest families in the world are buying digital assets. Bitcoin, Ethereum, World Liberty, USD1, and frankly, a bunch of other ones. But the biggest assets, the biggest families in the world, the biggest corporate entities in the United States, Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, are buying digital assets. They're buying Bitcoin, and they're hoarding it, and they will not let it go. The sovereign wealth funds are buying digital assets. The biggest families in the world, the biggest royal families in the world, are buying digital assets. People, individuals who want financial freedom are buying these assets. And, in the case of Bitcoin, they're very, very scarce, only 21 million. Never will you have another one that's created. And that's an incredibly powerful tool. And every single day, people see the price go up and up. And they want it to go back down so they can possibly get in. And I tell people, get into the digital asset space because otherwise it's going to leave you behind. It's the technology of our time. We're on the front end of a digital revolution. I think America is leading the way because you have a president who believes in it, and you have a president who understands it, and you have a cabinet. And I think that's really good for the rest of the world because I think it takes bold leadership to step in and write the rules and set the parameters. And I think it makes it a lot easier for a lot of other countries to follow. I know Vietnam, I've been watching it very closely, and we've got a bunch of projects in that country, a couple of hotels and golf courses that we're building. And about 2 months ago, they wanted nothing to do with digital assets. And then all of a sudden, they've been watching what America is doing, and it seems like in the last 4 to 6 weeks, their entire tune has changed in terms of their stance on digital assets. I was just in Hong Kong at the Bitcoin conference. There were 20,000 people in that room, 20,000. You couldn't see the end of the conference hall. I'm sure some of the people in this room were there. And it's amazing. I mean, it's truly, truly amazing to see how it's being embraced in Asia. Asia loves digital assets, and they're certainly following suit. And obviously, in terms of Korea, you have so much passion. You have so much love for the digital space. It's one of the biggest in the world. In fact, I think the second behind the United States right now. Obviously, what you're doing, SJ, and your wonderful company in this conference is incredible. As you know, World Liberty Financial is listed. Our token is listed on the exchange. So go out and buy World Liberty. I think what we're doing on that side of the equation, we can certainly talk more about it in a minute, is beyond. We're redefining what finance will be globally, and I'm incredibly proud of that project. And it's exciting things. I mean, again, the growth of this industry in the next 12, 18 months is going to be explosive, and the next decade is going to be, we're going to look back and say we were the pioneers of rewriting modern finance, and I couldn't be more proud to be on the front end of that.